With every great franchise comes memes. Lots and lots of them. So I decided I wanted to cover some of the most well-known ones, as well as how they became memes in the first place. Some of them are pretty obvious how they started, and others maybe not. Let's dive into the world of Pokemon memes. I heard you liked Mudkips. This was a catchphrase that frequently appeared on 4chan, that first appeared in the mid-2000s. It was used so much that you pretty much saw it everywhere, becoming one of the most famous non-official Pokemon phrases. Too much water. I think everyone knows this one. From IGN's review of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they gave the game a 7.8 out of 10, with one of the only criticisms being too much water. This then went on to become one of the most well-known Pokemon memes, with many iterations of it. Surprised Pikachu face. This image of Pikachu first appeared in the Pokemon anime in episode 10 of the first season, however didn't catch on until around autumn of 2018, where it became one of the most famous reaction images pretty much ever. I remember when this first became a thing, and it really blew up. Slowpoke, the Pokemon version of the Internet Explorer meme, used to signify things that are, as the name says, slow. This was also used quite a bit on 4chan around the mid-2000s. In fact, Slowpoke became so much of a meme that the Pokemon Company made their very own Slowpoke video that we all know and love. The Walking Ferret. Not long after Sun and Moon came out in 2016, the walking animations for every Pokemon came about online, where Game Freak clearly planned for Pokemon to be able to walk in the games, but they never made it in. The most famous walking animation, of course, being Ferret, where it was uploaded to YouTube around 2019 and got a lot of traction, with the biggest walking Ferret meme being Ferret on an escalator until Sinnoh remakes come out, where Ferret walked on the escalator for about 2 years or so, non-stop, until of course Sinnoh remakes did eventually come out. Bring back the National Dex. Ever since the National Dex was confirmed to be cut from Sword and Shield, there was a massive outrage of Pokemon fans not happy with this decision. Some went as far as to use the female protagonist, Gloria, as the mascot for the Bring Back the National Dex meme. Brock's famous frying pan, or should I say drying pan. One of the most memorable pieces of dialogue from Pokemon, which was from the special episode of Pokemon Mewtwo Returns. This quote was of course so famous and so popular that became a meme in of itself. Shorts that are comfy and easy to wear. This first appeared in the American version of Pokemon Red and Blue, from an NPC that says it right before you battle them. This became an extremely popular saying, and was memeified in the 2000s, being pretty popular as part of Rage comics, or other types of memes. Rowlet. This Pokemon pretty much became a meme ever since it was revealed, from the turning its head image to Scared Rowlet in the anime. You could just say that it's a walking meme at this point. The Firefighting Starter. After we got 3 generations in a row of fire starters evolving into firefighting types, it's been a meme every generation that the fire starter is going to become yet another firefighting type. Luckily, this hasn't repeated yet. However, you can't help but think if it wasn't for this meme, or people being pretty vocal about not wanting another firefighting starter, that we were possibly supposed to have gotten another one. Maybe. What's under Diglett? Diglett has been the topic of Pokemon discussion since the early 2000s, with people wondering, what the hell is under it? Shortly after, we got countless artworks of people drawing what apparently is Ditto's true form, a lot of which is pretty memeable. Advice Oak, known for his famous quote, "Now's not the time for that," this Pokemon Oak meme began to spread around the early 2010s, with many variations. And I mean many. It's not as popular today, but is still very well known. The It's Pikachu meme.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Everyone knows about the Who's That Pokemon It's Pikachu meme, but what you may not have known is that this wasn't the original.
It's Pikachu! God damn it!
Another popular version of this meme is from the anime itself, where the characters tried to get a Pokemon that was clearly ball-shaped, which happened to be... yeah, the Scottish Pokemon trainer. When Galar was first revealed to be based on the UK, of course the protagonists of the game were imagined to have British accents, although Gloria, the female protagonist, was more specifically imagined to be Scottish, given her slightly more inspired Scottish look. This led to a lot of humorous memes of her being very Scottish. Fat Pikachu. With Pikachu originally looking a lot chunkier than he did before, Pokemon fans eventually started to point this out. However, in 2019, where Gigantamax Pikachu was revealed, the Fat Pikachu meme evolved even further, where Pikachu became arguably the biggest Pokemon meme. As in, literally the biggest. Gen 1ers. While not completely clear where Gen 1ers first started, or where the word originated, one of the earliest uses of the term was around 2012. This referred to people who only liked first-gen Pokemon, or at least older Pokemon, as well as their games. This eventually took off and took the form of many memes. Remakes confirmed. After Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, of course one of the things that Pokemon fans started to wonder was, when is Hoenn getting remade? Thus, the Hoenn confirmed meme was born. And if you think about it, this meme may never die. After Hoenn remakes eventually did come out, Sinnoh remakes confirmed was born. And after Sinnoh remakes happened, Unova remakes confirmed was born. And so on, and you get me. Lord Helix. With how massive of an event Twitch Plays Pokemon was from 2014, of course there were some memorable moments that became memes themselves, with one of the biggest ones being Lord Helix. After getting the Helix fossil, the player would accidentally select the fossil multiple times, leading to the narrative of the Helix fossil being the player's guide, giving the player good luck. Thus, Lord Helix was born. Bird Jesus. The other Twitch Plays Pokemon meme to come from all this was of course Bird Jesus, which came from the Pidgey courts early, being pretty useful on the team throughout the playthrough, and even ending up on the final team. Pachirisu World Champion. Sejun Park won the Pokemon World Champions in 2014, with arguably the most famous Pokemon team at the championships of all time. And the key player of the team was his Pachirisu. It was used to disrupt his opponent with Follow Me and tank some pretty powerful moves. After this, Pachirisu became its own meme with some pretty awesome fan art. In fact, this Pokemon match was so well known that Pokemon themselves celebrated this at the 2022 World Championships. Youngster Joey, one of the most famous Pokemon NPCs, known for praising his top percentage Rattata. This guy didn't actually become too notable until Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, where people started to notice him in early 2010. People made social media accounts of him, and of course, a lot of memes. It's been 3,000 years. Probably the most famous quote and image from Pokemon X and Y after you beat the game. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Pokemon vs Lions. Apparently the earliest known mention of this was from a video around October 2011. This moved on to many other sites, where it evolved into the massive debates that we know today, and somehow is still ongoing. Are you a boy or a girl? Originally starting in Pokemon Crystal, where the player was first able to pick a female character to play as, this eventually caught traction and spread around the late 2000s, becoming the Pokemon meme we know today. Fairy types. When the fairy type was first revealed back in 2013, before X and Y came out, they showed us that dragons were the main target of fairies, with fairies being strong against them and immune to dragon. This spawns the many memes of dragon types' new phobia, being small, pink, innocent fairy types. Yungoos Trump. When the Pokemon Yungoos was first revealed back in 2016, people noticed a somewhat striking resemblance to a certain well-known figure. This went on to become a meme. This also goes for the evolution. Gardevoir. One of the most famous Gen 3 Pokemon, and one of the most popular Pokemon on the internet, if not the most popular. Back in 2004, a user on Urban Dictionary submitted probably the earliest known entry for Gardevoir, defining it as a synonym for an attractive woman. This continued on, with Gardevoir getting more and more mentions such as fanfictions, images, on many threads and many sites. And of course, many memes. Pokemon Gun. After Sword and Shield was announced as the Gen 8 titles, fans were quick to make their own third version of these games, being Pokemon Gun. Pretty self-explanatory. Skitty x Warlord. With how Pokemon breeding works, one of the most bizarre pairings is of course Skitty and Warlord. Apparently this started on the game FAQs forum, and took off from there. This of course went on to be the most famous breeding pair in all of Pokemon. Magikarp's Revenge. Magikarp might be in contention for being the most memed Pokemon ever, known for being extremely pathetic, but eventually evolving into an absolute monster. Even Pokemon know how memeable Magikarp is, where it's gotten its own game, its own song, and even its own made-up move in Pokemon Showdown. Groudon vs Kyogre. Ever since Pokemon Emerald, where Groudon and Kyogre had their battle of land and sea, fans eventually started to meme about this interaction, highlighting how pretty hilariously one-sided this matchup was. This meme became so popular that even years later, this meme is still getting iterations. Among Us. So, around 2018, there was this little game that didn't blow up until around 2020, when COVID was a thing. And with that game's popularity, along with its name being similar to the Pokemon, you can guess how this became a meme. Tinkaton. Probably the most well-known dex entry in Scarlet and Violet. It's revealed what exactly Tinkaton's hammer is made from, which of course led to many memes about this. Poor Corviknight. And the most important Pokemon meme ever created is Bidoof. Just Bidoof. If you know, you know. And those are some of the most notable memes to come out of the Pokemon franchise. Were there any notable ones that I missed? Let me know in the comments. And if you did enjoy, please do leave a like, as it does help the video out. Subscribe for more Pokemon videos in the future. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.